what happened in the 80s, and it would be a terrible mistake, and people rose up against it. And although maybe at the beginning the votes were there to do it, by the time that all ended, votes weren't there to do it. Yeah, that's a very good point. That's a good contemporary example of the power of the people, and a president has to know how to use that. And if the people don't support you, well, then you just can't get it done. I mean, if people think it's unwise change, and the other party's in control, you're just not going to have it happen. Heck of a good system, I think. Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
I'm an independent voter. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. Trying to figure out what I'm going to do in the first week of January. It seems to me that the country is really divided on the Iraq issue problem. We've got Republicans, it seems like, politicians saying that we've done nothing wrong in Iraq. It seems like we have Democrats saying we shouldn't have been there and we need to pull everybody out now. It seems there's a middle ground. And I think a lot of Americans fall into this middle ground. And that middle ground, as I see it, is that after 9/11, we should have been pursuing Al-Qaeda, and that we took our eyes off of Al-Qaeda when we went into Iraq. In spite of that, I understand that now that we're there, we're stuck there, and we need to finish our job there. Do you see any difference between the pursuit of Osama bin Laden and what we're doing in Iraq?
Of course there's a difference. But I don't think they're mutually exclusive, nor can we make them that way. I think we have to do both. And we're a big country, and we have a tremendous military. And we should be able to do more than one thing at a time and do it very effectively. And neither of these engagements is so overwhelming that it can't be done by our military. I mean, we think of Iraq, and Iraq has been very, very burdensome and very difficult, and tremendous sacrifices, and horrible loss of life, for which you're never really going to be able to repair that in people's minds and hearts, and particularly the families affected by it. But the reality is, as a military engagement, I mean, this is not on the scope of the Vietnam War, the Korean War, not close to the Second World War. So we should be able to handle both of these things. I wouldn't describe the differences exactly the way you did. I don't think there's anyone who doesn't believe that some mistakes were made in Iraq. I don't know anyone, including the President of the United States, who doesn't think the mistakes were made in Iraq. But now the question is, however we got there, as you say, what do we do with it? And we cannot just pull out of Iraq without considering the consequences, because the consequences will be very, very grave for us if we just pull out of Iraq. We'll make Iran much stronger if we just pull out of Iraq. We should not make Iran stronger. That is a big mistake. Iran will have an allied government right next to it that is sitting on top of billions and billions of dollars in oil. What we should do, we should say, we want to have victory in Iraq. We should define the victory. The victory is a stable Iraq that is going to operate as a ally for us in the Islamic war against us, Islamic terrorist war against us. And if we get to that stage, then we should start to withdraw troops. But before we get to that stage, we shouldn't turn over a victory to the Islamic terrorists. That would be a very big mistake. And I think we're capable of getting there. And until General Petraeus and the people responsible there tell us that they are not capable of getting there, or for some independent reason you come to that conclusion, I don't know why you want to rush to loss. I don't know why the Democrats want to embrace loss when there's a chance that we can have strategic success. And finally, I'm going to ask you to rethink Iraq for a minute. Right now, a much bigger issue for us, I think, right, a much more dangerous issue for us, maybe is the way I should say, is Iran. Iran wants to become a nuclear power. That would be a very dangerous thing. They're an irresponsible regime with an irresponsible leader and set of leaders, and the worst nightmare you could possibly have, going back to the Cold War, are nuclear weapons in the hands of an irresponsible person. So we have to stop them from becoming a nuclear power. I want you to just think about this, because there's so much debate on what was it right or wrong to take out Saddam Hussein. Suppose we didn't do it. Suppose Hillary Clinton, John Edwards, and Barack Obama had their wish, because Barack Obama was against it, and Hillary Clinton and John Edwards now say they were wrong to authorize the war against Saddam Hussein. Suppose we never did it. And suppose we left Saddam Hussein there. And Iran was pursuing becoming a nuclear power, because they have been for quite some time, and they would. What do you think Iraq would be doing? What do you think would be happening in Iraq right now had we not taken out Saddam Hussein? What do you think he would have been doing? Do you have any doubt what he'd been doing? He'd be trying to develop nuclear weapons. He tried once before. He had a whole plan for doing it. The whole Oil for Peace program, at least some aspect of it, was so that he could get himself out from under the sanctions so he could get weapons of mass destruction. If his mortal enemy, Iran, was going to become nuclear, wouldn't he have to become nuclear? And how do you stop it? I mean, this is like Pakistan and India, right? One becomes nuclear, the other has to. Except it isn't Pakistan and India. It's Saddam Hussein and a group of mullahs who are out of control. So, I know, these things aren't tidy and they're not neat. They don't all happen like perfectly with all the right decisions made. But I have no doubt we're better off without Saddam Hussein. We're better off in the situation we are in now than the one I just told you about. We're better off if we have to deal only with Iran, not Iran and Iraq, both trying to become nuclear. We're better off with an Iraq that right now is demobilized, in essence, from being a major headquarters in the Islamic terrorist war against us. They're, right now, you might consider them on hold. They're dealing with their own problems. And we got a chance to push it in the right direction, or it could go against us, but we got a chance. Much better off than Saddam Hussein sitting there, moving toward becoming a nuclear power. The two reasons why we can't allow Iran to become nuclear are, one, they're too irresponsible and too dangerous. And they supply weapons to terrorists right now. And when you think about Iran, don't just think about the Cold War missile situation. Think about them handing off nuclear materials to terrorists. And the terrorists then coming to places, not just in America, but all over Europe, and setting off dirty bombs. Because that's one of the main risks that we run. So we have to stop them from becoming nuclear. And the other reason we have to stop them from becoming nuclear is if they become nuclear, a lot of the Middle East is going to have to become nuclear to defend themselves. Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Kuwait. So not having Iraq around in that situation is helping us right now. So war is horrible. Nobody wants war. America hates war. But you also have to understand how to defend yourself. And you have to understand how to protect America. And there are times in which you got to make difficult decisions. And I am not one who thinks it was wrong to take out Saddam Hussein. I supported it then. I haven't changed my mind about it. I haven't, like Hillary Clinton, had 6 different positions on it. It was clear to me then it should be done. It's clear to me now, and I think the judgment of history is going to be it was the right thing to do.